Aloha! You are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 222. This podcast is brought to you by Don the Beachcomber. Enjoy classic dining and cocktails in a tropical, exotic setting. Brought to you by 23 Restaurants Group. Coming soon to Madeira Beach, Florida. The legend returns. This podcast is sponsored by Frogtown Brewery, an independent craft brewery and tap room located in Northeast Los Angeles along the LA River. Stop in and enjoy one of their excellent beers from their ever-changing, diverse menu. Tell them that Inside the Desert Oasis Room sent you and get your first pint on us. Limitations apply. For more information, go to frogtownbrewery.com and follow them on social media at Frogtown Brewery. On this episode, we chat with Chad Yoho. Chad is the Southern California face of Kuleana Rumworks, makers of world-class spirits from estate-grown heirloom sugarcane on the Big Island of Hawaii. Learn about Chad's path to Kuleana, from working hospitality in Northern California to working summers in Maui and finding his way right back to the mainland. As always, I hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did bringing it to you. If you'd like to follow our adventures, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PolynesianPop, where we chronicle events, bars, travel spots, cocktail tutorials, and more. And if you enjoy this podcast, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/PolynesianPop, where membership grants you early access to podcasts and videos, front-of-the-line privileges to new merch releases, as well as exclusive content, meetups, and screen credits. Alrighty, let's get into this. Pour yourself a cocktail and join us inside the Desert Oasis Room. And give it up for my friend, Chad Yoho. However, having said that, if you were to throw a martini in this glass, it wouldn't taste right.
I think it's the ice, like the dilution helps, you know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the dilution is a huge factor in that, you know what I mean? And what I'm going to do just to save ice is just take this guy off.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can do that. Let's just dump
it. No. Well, it's still going to strain it.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
That's all right.
Well, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll just dump the ice in after. See if that works.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to dirty dump it.
Yeah. Let's see. That's a lot of booze. I think there was some left over.
Dude.
I know.
That's cool.
We'll start talking about random stuff. It's stuck. Good thing this isn't being filmed, right? Yeah.
There you go.
It's being filmed. There we go.
Filmed, right.
All right, dirty dump.
So for our listeners out there, I don't know if this video will ever see the light of day, but in the description, I will give you the video.
There's my dirty dump
that we just recorded.
Actually, it worked perfectly because there's nothing left. So.
There you go. Perfect.
Hey,
look
whatever.
at perfect pour. I will give you the link to the video that we recorded for Kuleana Rum. So our friend Chad Yoho was gracious enough to drive out to Corona.
Hell yeah.
Halfway between LA and Palm Springs, specifically to make us cocktails and talk about their fantastic rum, which I will put a link in the description for as well. So thank you again for driving out here, Chad.
Dude, you're no problem at all.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. And
let's see a $1 million
chair. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'll go like to a bar and with friends, and then they may not eat their Luxardo.
Why wouldn't they?
And I'll be like, dude,
you can't
that's like $20 right there.
Yeah, dude.
You can't leave that in the glass.
I think 2 jars of this at Costco are like $18, $19.
Yeah, actually it's $22.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Because that's where I bought that jar.
I saw them on sale and I was like,
that's such a deal. Dude, when I saw that, I wanted to buy the whole freaking pallet because it's such a good deal. Okay, I want to take a photo of this. Let me take a photo of this before you
indulge.
Before you drink it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Love it.
Maybe we should put one of these crab guys in there, huh?
Yeah. So there you go.
Boom. Perfect.
Oh my God.
Does it look good?
It looks great. Desert Oasis room. In the house. Oh, we're in the house of Desert
There's some more
Oasis.
Panama 15 if you want some. By all means, pour your
I
nose.
love it. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to while I have a chance
of course.
to. So
I'm trying to get more bottles. I know that we have like 8 allocated for the sales team to share with special people like you.
oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, who's better?
Well, look, that's very nice of you, and I appreciate the consideration, but I understand you have accounts that probably buy your rum that you should be taking care of.
Of course, and I would share that with them too. But you were the first guy I shared it with, so.
Oh, what an honor. Okay, I love it. So, Kuleana, Panama 15. And if you guys want to learn more about this, check out the link in the description. I will put the video that we made for that. So, cheers to you, Chad.
Get a good pick.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
brother.
Cheers.
Bum, bum, bum.
Love it. All right, so we've got our friend Chad in the house.
How's it going, everybody?
And I want to learn more about you, Chad, because
Sure.
you and I really just kind of started talking pretty recently.
Yeah, I think in the last year, maybe 2, we've ran into each other plenty of times, and then I'd be like, hey, you're Adrian with the Polynesian Pop, and I followed you on Instagram instantly, and because you just seem to like have this huge network of people involved with rum in some facet, or involved with tiki.
I've just been doing the tiki thing a long time.
Yeah, and I love the tiki thing, and I think you're way more hardcore tiki than I am. I'm more like middle,
I get you.
I evolve within the crowds,
and you are more hardcore rum than I am.
I mean, I'm working for a rum company, I guess.
And I'm middle too.
Yeah.
The thing is that I enjoy my rum, but I have this kind of philosophy of I don't know how to make creme brulee.
Sure.
I don't think I need to know how to make creme brulee to enjoy creme brulee.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of people that are like in the rum world that kind of scoff at you for not knowing like what rum is in your cocktail. And to me, it's just kind of like, well, I don't know how to make, beef Wellington either, and I'll enjoy beef Wellington. I'm just not somebody that thinks I need to know everything about everything that goes in my food or my drinks, and I would challenge those people that scoff at me to tell me what's in that chili dog that they just ate.
Yeah.
Because
MSG.
The truth is we just don't know the details of everything that we consume. So, but I also understand the people that really nerd out on, they get really into rum, or they get really into whiskey, or they get really into fill in the blank. Right? So I get that.
I think that's a great point of view. I love that you don't scoff at people that don't know everything. And one thing that I love about this industry is like being in it for over 10 to 15 years. It's a weird range because.
So having said that, I was going to ask you that next. So, being a brand rep is something that bartenders kind of they aspire to, or that's where they kind of go after they've done bartending?
It's pretty subjective, because
Were you bartending before?
I have bartended before. So I used to work at the Hyatt in Monterey, California. So out of college.
Oh, so up north.
Yeah, I can give you my timeline. So I'll give it to you in a very short elevator pitch. But
okay.
So graduated college. During college, I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii every summer. So that's kind of what we got my love for Hawaii. So my Uncle Mike Djokovic, he's an amazing guy. Anybody of you people in Hawaii or Maui probably know Mike Djokovic. He used to run the Andaz in Wailea on the south side, and then the Hyatt Regency Maui in Lahaina, Kaanapali area. And he was the GM there at the time in 2007, 2008. So in 2008, my first summer, I got to leave my college for the summer and go work in Hawaii for 4 months. So
you lived in Hawaii?
I did. So I lived in Maui from 2008, 2009, 2010-ish a little bit, and then 2011. And every year since I've been to Hawaii, whether it was Big Island, Oahu, or Maui, those were kind of the 3 islands that I've visited the most. And I've been to Molokai, Lanai. I have never been to Kauai, though, long story short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I've never been to Kauai. I need to go to Kauai.
That's interesting.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was a recreations attendant, a.k.a. a cabana boy.
Yeah.
So every summer I'd go out there, I'd wear a white polo and board shorts and put lotion on people's backs. I'd tell the kids to go down the slide. I'd run camp. I'd do snorkel classes. I would do it all.
Someone said to me one time, they asked me, like, what would your dream job be? And I said, my dream job would be the guy with the airbrush gun.
Yeah.
That sprays suntan lotion on the girls on the beach.
And they do artwork with that stuff too, which is also like, yeah, exactly. You could totally finesse that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So
best summers of my life for sure.
Yeah.
I was, had no bills at the time. Student loans didn't kick in yet, and it was just great. And
and you have no other obligations, right? You're really just getting up and going to work.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you were bartending out there.
So I did like random banquet events and stuff, and like like a banquet bartender.
So you'd work for like caterers.
Yeah,
like companies.
So I would mainly work for the hotel. So, So like out of college, I majored in business with a specialization in hospitality. During college, during like the semester, I would work at Best Buy. So like you're obviously a techie guy with all this stuff. And
I used to be in the tech industry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love technology though. It's great. It's fascinating.
I get it, but it's always changing. And the thing about technology is once I would start feeling comfortable with whatever it was that I was working in, it changed. It was already obsolete. So I always felt like I never knew what I was doing. I always felt like I was faking it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
But my mom always said, "Fake it till you make it."
Yeah, I still feel like I'm faking it. I've been doing this since 2016, so this is my 7th year.
Nice.
And actually, it's my 8th year. I've been doing it for 7 years. I just celebrated my 7-year anniversary, so I've started my 8th year. Thank you.
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm faking it. I still feel like, I don't know how I've made it this far.
Yeah. You're doing great. Hey, I think you have a great followers.
Thank you.
You're really well known in the industry. I think my whole philosophy too is like, I don't know everything there is to know about rum. And I can tell you for a fact that these great influencers like yourself, like the Rum Champion Brian, or the Rum Revival, these guys are like obviously learning. And everyone started somewhere.
They're really great guys.
They're amazing. Yeah. Amazing guys. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, shout out to the Rum Revival. Shout out to
the Rum Champion.
The Rum Champion.
Yeah, those are guys
who will be inside the Desert Oasis room exactly 1 week from now.
Brian.
So shout out to them.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so like talking about you, I mean you went how did you end up at Kuleana?
So long story short, I did the summers in Maui, and then I graduated in 2012, and then I worked at Best Buy for a little longer, and then I was like, all right, I got to do something else, because I was only making $12 an hour at Best Buy.
Right.
And for me back then, that was like...
Was this in Hawaii?
No, that was in East Coast, in West Virginia, an hour away from Pittsburgh, in the tri-state area of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
Dude, how did you end up there?
I grew up there. Spent 23 years of my life over there. And then every summer, I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii. And that's where my love for Hawaii came in. And everybody thinks, I'm dark complected. If I'm out there, I'm tan. They're like, are you Hawaiian?
If I didn't know better, I'd think you...
People ask me all the time.
I would think you were raised in Hawaii.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm from the East Coast. I have Greek and Serbian heritage. I have a little white, German, Irish, Finnish, Scandinavian, you name it. I'm a big mutt.
Okay.
So I'm a lover of all creeds and races, blah, blah, blah. But I've all been just traveled a lot. And
this Mai Tai is so good, dude.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but all right, go ahead.
No problem. So after that, where was I at? Left West Virginia, became an assistant food and beverage manager for Hyatt Regency Monterey up in NorCal. So I got recruited for this hospitality program, blah, blah, blah. I liked it, but at the same time, it's like you're working 16-hour days, 6 days a week. You're grinding. I had to wear a full suit. I'm like sweating my ass off, doing this stuff. You're like trying to make sure everybody's happy. They're spending a lot of money to stay there every night, so you just want everything to go smoothly. I learned a lot. I became a buyer for like liquor and stuff like that. So ultimately, I was like on the other side of the business, ordering, like the ordering manager, as well as like intermittently bartending when people called out and stuff. So I did everything, dude. I was like a man of many hats. And I was like, this one Stella girl came in. I was just like tired. It was like a 6 day in a row working. I'm exhausted. And she's so happy and bubbly. And she's like, I'm like, hey, do you mind me asking, like, how do you like your job? Like, what are you doing? She's like, I love like beer distribution. I love like alcohol distribution because you have more of a set schedule Monday through Friday.
Okay.
You work random weekends for events and stuff, but better quality life, a little more money, a little more incentive. I was strictly salary at Hyatt, and it was a great opportunity. I love Hyatt hotels, and it's a great thing. But I just evolved into that sales role. So I told my brother and my family, like my confidants, and I was just like, dude, I'm tired of this. I want to get out. And I worked for Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits, which was Southern Wine and Spirits at the time.
Yeah. So
I started in the chains. The chains is like the grocery store. So I built wine displays, and I was making the same amount of money doing like more gritty work, but ultimately it's a stepping stone to where you want to be. So you go in there like 2 or 3 in the morning and build these wine displays and talk to these beverage managers that, are like super, here and there. Some are great people. Some are just mean, it's not nice to be around. And then ultimately I got promoted, and then I went to the on-premise, which was my first on-premise, so changes like liquor stores, grocery stores where you sell alcohol in that facet. And then when you go to the on-premise, it's restaurants, bars, to hotels, all that stuff.
Gotcha, that's what on-premise means.
Yeah, and then off-premise is strictly like liquor stores, independent warehouses, stuff like that. Chains is like Ralph's, Vaughn's, Pavilions, bigger merchants. Yeah. And ultimately went to Southern, got promoted, went to the Bacardi and Patron division in on-premise when they started, and I had an opportunity after that to get promoted again to full book, which is everything Southern sells. Went to Santa Monica, was an on-premise rep, loved it. I got Rookie of the Year in 2017. That was really awesome.
Nice.
With the help of my old boss, Jamie Keogh. Shout out to Jamie. He's an amazing guy.
Shout out to Jamie.
He used to be my DM. He got promoted to VP of on-premise. He's killing it. Just crushing it. He was a big mentor. And then ultimately I just came through and just like figured it out, like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life, because we're peddling a lot of booze, and like hey, this is on quota, this is on quota, this is on quota. And then ultimately I was like, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And just took a chance on this startup company. Okay. And it didn't work out. It didn't, just 6 months. It was a water company from New Zealand. Big mistake in hindsight, but they're doing well. Right. I lived and learned, and hindsight is 20/20, but theoretically should have stayed with Southern, but ultimately that's kind of what led me to Kuleana, because like these great summers I had in college in Hawaii, I worked for Stone in Stone Distribution, which does beer. Yeah, during COVID.
Stone Brewing.
Yeah, so I've kind of hopped around a little bit in my beverage career.
I'm gonna take a quick picture.
Yeah,
of you.
Please do. Right. Yeah, cheers.
All right, give me shaka. All right.
Shaka.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
I just saw, when you were talking, I just saw this opportunity to take this photo.
You could do it.
All right, so that's interesting because, a lot of people really, they spend years as bartenders, or they spend years working in hospitality.
Definitely.
And then they find their way as a brand rep.
Sure, they do. That's pretty typical.
So you took a different path.
I did. I kind of started as an assistant food and beverage manager, went to a distributor role for a long time, and then kind of went to a brand rep. And so that's kind of my flow. I bartended intermittently here and there. Right.
Probably private jobs, right?
Private jobs. I did banquet bartending. I did some stand-up bartending. I still moonlight once in a while at this wine bar to talk to these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, randomly. Just it's fun, just in Malibu. It's a cool place.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to talk about Hawaii because this brand, obviously based on the Big Island. How often do you get there?
So usually twice a year, which is awesome. I had the huge privilege to go recently with the Southern Glaciers team, which is we're in the craft division at Southern. And I got to take 6 of our top selling reps.
Oh, nice.
And we just had a ball. Yeah. It was just we went to the farm, we saw Steve, we saw everybody, we had these huge dinners. Matt, our VP, was there, the whole team. And then we had an all hands meeting, which the whole company meets every year, and ultimately just hashes out our opportunities and stuff that we can improve on and growing and then team building and stuff like that. So
I think it's interesting that your founder Steve started this rum kind of after tasting a Martinique rum. Yeah. Right. And a lot of tiki people and a lot of cocktail people, I think their dream is to start their own spirit.
Definitely.
Right? And doing so is such a Herculean effort. I would assume, I mean, considering that he would need to purchase property or lease property to grow the sugarcane.
Yep.
And then property for the distilling plant for all of that. I mean, how did that come about?
Yeah, that's pretty unique story. Steve, like in his own right, is an entrepreneur. He's done everything. He's valeted cars. He's bartended. He's been a contractor. Yeah. He used to be an editor for a tech magazine. Yeah. So funny that we're all kind of involved in tech in some facet of our lives.
Yeah, and it touches it somehow. Right?
Yeah, it does, and especially in this newer age that we're in. But he just like foreseed, you know, like his wife Jackie too. I think was a big pinnacle in like creating this company. It's like his rock, you know, and having that support system is
your partner has to be on board.
And she is, and Jackie's just a wonderful person and just like super supportive of everything, and it's just super crazy. But I think the short answer to Steve's acquisition of the Kuleana farm I would say like is investors, you know what I mean? Like some angel investors, stuff like that, and just knowing the right people, networking in a huge way, and then building the companies place by place. Like, you know, it's funny, both of us have Tacomas. Yeah. So there's a picture, which I would love to show, and then maybe we can insert it in this video clip by the time you edit it. Yeah. Of Steve's Tacoma with all the sugarcane before it actually came to the farm. And it's in the bed of a Tacoma, and it's like flourished from like, because I'm a huge Toyota fan.
So here's the thing, like if you drive a Tacoma, right, we're part of like this little cult. Yeah. Because, dude, I wanted that car when the pre-runner first came out. Yep. I remember when we were looking at homes, I was still married to my first wife, and we were looking at model homes and stuff. And I wanted one of those so bad. And then I went to this new home developer. We were looking at the models, and there was one parked in the parking lot. A brand new, it was white. It was probably an 01 or an 02 Toyota pre-runner. Nice. And I just thought, like, I want that fucking car. Yeah. And then when I had my chance, that was what I got.
That's amazing.
So I got my pre-runner, and I fucking love it. I mean, like, it's its own community. Definitely. Like tiki people, cocktail people, or whatever you want to call it, Star Wars people. Yeah. Like you have all your subcultures. There's a taco community out there.
Oh, there is. That's I'm part of like all the Facebook groups.
Oh, me too. I follow all of them.
I watch YouTube videos about this random stuff. Like this guy's changing out his muffler. I'm like, you never know.
Oh, dude, I freaking love. And then you freaking pull up and you're like, "Can I park my taco next to your taco?" And I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah,
like, exactly. But we talked about this before. I remember like you're telling me, "Oh yeah, I drive a Tacoma." I'm like, "Bro, so do I." Yeah. Right. There's this brotherhood.
Exactly.
And yeah, man. So now Steve's got one.
Steve has a one that his son's driving. Jack, shout out to Jack. He's at UC Santa Barbara. Okay. Majoring in film. Great kid. He's like 6'7", dude. This kid's a fucking giant.
6'7". Does he play basketball?
French. Yeah, no, he doesn't. He just creates film. Anyway, so he had a nice manual, like 2-door SR5, and he's like, "Here, son. Here's your first college truck." And
dude, I love it.
I think I don't know. Steve's a big Porsche guy. And I say Porsche, not Porsche.
I have a Porsche too.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a 350. I have a 356. I have a bathtub speedster.
No way.
Yeah, it's
in the garage.
In the garage, yeah.
That's amazing.
I'll show it to you later.
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, like,
he's got a Tesla too, like a Model 3, which is.
I don't have a Tesla. I love a Tesla.
Great car. Yeah. But he's got a Cayenne that's lifted with off-road tires. Oh. And a 911, the last one of the air-cooled ones that is like 96.
A Cayenne that's lifted?
Yeah, dude. I'll show you a picture. It's amazing.
Wow, that's interesting.
And he brings it on the farm, the Kuleana farm, and it rides like effortlessly. A 500 horsepower V8. Which is insane.
So here's the thing. If you're in Hawaii, that's kind of the car to have is that Tacoma.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of the guys that work on the farm specifically have the huge jacked up tires like that.
See, I want to do that. I want to lift my truck. Yeah. And I want to do the big fat ass tires. I don't want to do like a monster truck, but I do want to do like the big fat tires that stick out. Yeah.
The offset will be a little more.
The offset will be more.
Yeah.
And the big, like real knobby treads on it.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to feel it.
Yeah, super uncomfortable.
And hear it.
Yeah, real
Your wife's
noisy.
in there like, where are we going?
Right.
Don't worry, babe. We're fine.
But the thing is, like, I follow a lot of these guys on Instagram. There's a bunch of Hawaii Tacoma clubs. Where they do that, right? Where they do the lifted truck and they do the fat tires and they do the whole, like, they live on an island, right? So, like, I get it. And I just freaking love it, man. I want to do that on mine. But I'm also, like...
Being here in SoCal, it's tough.
I've had my truck for almost 20 years.
It's a great truck.
And I'm really, like... Thank you. I'm really, like, kind of... It's all stock because I'm... It's the resale value that I'm kind of, like...
Debating.
Yeah. I don't want to start fucking with it and then like...
Hey, one day you need to sell it just to get some cash or something.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's my thought. But the thing is that I'll probably never sell that truck.
Yeah.
I fucking love my truck.
Yeah,
I love my truck.
It makes you feel good.
I love my truck.
Yeah.
Dude. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, I'll probably have that until the day it dies. And then when it dies, I'll throw a new motor in it. I mean, like, I love my truck.
Get a bigger motor.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like make it powerful, you know? Because like Tacomas aren't really known for being powerful, but more reliable than anything.
More reliable.
But their articulation of those things and like all the stuff that like involves the Tacoma, like we know. Like, you know, Toyota's like you have a Jeep and like the freaking like windows aren't working. Like Toyotas, you can have a 1984 like pickup.
Well, Jeeps are notorious for not being reliable.
Yeah, especially electronically.
And Tacomas are notorious for being reliable.
Exactly.
The exact opposite. So.
Yeah. And like we I don't know, we have a group, cult following, whatever you want to call it, and you pride yourself just in...
Yeah.
Because you know you're like, you're investing your money in something that's going to be worth something. And
100%.
Resale value is insane too.
So 2 things. I remember when you told me that you drove a Tacoma, I remember getting excited and being like, I drive a Tacoma too.
Yeah.
I have one too. Hey, bro, I got
you like
one.
Tiki, I like Tiki.
Right. And then our friend Chichi Roni's, she's from Hawaii. She lives in Hawaii. She lives in Oahu. We were at Tiki Caliente.
Yeah.
And we came from so we were like, I had a room party at one hotel with one of my sponsors, or 2 of my sponsors, I should say. And then we went back to the host hotel, which was the Caliente Tropics. But we had to drive over there. So I said, I'll give you a ride so you don't have to walk. It was like 105 degrees outside Palm Springs.
It's nuts, yeah.
So she gets in my car and she's like, and she's from Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
She's like, you have a taco?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, I have a taco.
Yeah.
Like you know, like, hell yeah, man. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I drove her over back there, and then it was just kind of like this thing, because if you're from Hawaii, you know.
Yeah.
You know that's kind of like the car. So.
They're worth like 10 grand more there than they are in the mainland.
Are they really?
So like you buy like a TRD off-road, whatever, like what I have, and then you sell it here, it's like maybe like 30.
So I have a TRD off-road too.
Yep.
So is yours a pre-runner?
No, TRD off-road 4-wheel drive.
Mine's a pre-runner.
Yeah.
So I had the TRD stickers on it.
Yeah.
And when I had it repainted, because it's been repainted twice already. When I had it repainted, they pulled the stickers off.
You can get them back though if you want.
Yeah, but they were like $75 each, and I said,
just do you really need it? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I said just leave them off, like $150 to add the stickers.
You'd much rather spend it on something else. Yeah.
Well, I also thought it was kind of cool to not have the stickers on it.
It looks good.
You know, I mean, like to remove the badges and stuff was kind of...
There's this Facebook group and stuff, and like there's this guy that comments on the guys with no badges because they're like, well, they don't have 4-wheel drive, but those peasants or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's a joke because like when you do have 4-wheel drive, you're proud of it.
Right.
And you put that sticker on there and you're just like, you know, it is what it is. But
well, my car's not 4-wheel drive.
Correct, I know. Pre-runners aren't. Yeah.
Pre-runners aren't.
Yeah.
So,
but you know why they made pre-runners? So they could pre-run the Baja track.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Which is still, like, in itself, a phenomenal feat, you know?
Right,
so don't discount just because you don't have a 4-wheel drive. No one uses it.
I don't need it. That's
you know how many times I've used mine? Let's be honest.
How many?
Like 4.
4 times.
I mean, like,
and the thing is that you pay more insurance for that.
Do you really?
I think you do because it's a 4-wheel drive.
The dealer told me specifically, she's like, you sure you don't want a pre-runner? You sure you don't want one without 4-wheel drive? It's like, listen, if I'm going to get a truck, I want to go to Mammoth, I want to go to, like, Pismo Beach, go 4-wheel drive, like do all this stuff. And I've done it, like, honestly, because I work all the time and, like, I'm always in SoCal. I don't do it often enough. And
I took my truck out to the river once, and my tires got stuck on the sand. Mm-hmm. And I have locking differential, so I didn't need 4-wheel
You still get
drive.
a locking diff with a pre-runner.
Yeah, I have a locking diff, so I didn't need 4-wheel drive to get out of the sand.
That's awesome.
So
I mean, like honestly, it's still like you kind of have it, with the locking.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, because you only have it on the
turning, but
you only have it on the rear
that,
tires.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do the locking diff, and you can't drive that fast with the locking diff.
No,
it's just to get you out of a situation.
Yeah, My Tacoma, the 2018 TRD off-road 4-wheel drive, has a crawl control knob. So it literally has this computer in there that actually like gets you out of a situation where it can actually turn one tire and turn the other. And I don't need it, but I have it.
But you have it.
Yeah, whatever.
Because there's going to be a time when you might need it.
For 5 years, so I'm trying to pay that shit off by like next year.
Yeah, it'll get there. Oh, next year. There you go.
I'm trying, dude.
So the biggest thing is...
It'll creep on me. It's some like 6% bullshit.
Mine's been paid off for a long time now because I bought mine like almost 20 years ago. My biggest fear is that someone's going to steal it.
No, I know. I saw your lock on the steering wheel, which is great.
Dude, I put like an old school club lock on it.
Just to kind of prevent any kind of theft.
Yeah, and I threw, what do you throw those in your luggage? The Apple AirTag.
Yep.
I threw one behind the dashboard.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
I could like track wherever it is.
I know where my Tacoma is. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really smart though.
Well, so like my kids drive it. So like when my son learned to drive, that was what he drove for a couple of years. Now my daughter's driving it because like, I don't have the money to just buy them a car. So so that's my second car. So she's driving it right now. And the good thing about that is I can just kind of see like, she's got a boyfriend. So she'll tell me like, oh, I'm at so-and-so's house. And I'll be like, all right, let me check to make sure you're really at, so-and-so's house.
Definitely.
And she's really at her friend's house. She's not at her boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like the thing is that, and I tell her like, you guys, you need to understand how much I love this truck. Like
do not mess it up. Yeah.
I love my truck. You put that club on wherever you go because it doesn't have that
anti-theft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So like the key doesn't have a transponder in it. Like you can hotwire that car and drive it off.
Yeah.
So like put the club on it, make it harder for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
feel that, man. I mean, even with like I have a push to start. I'm like, I have like a little higher tech Tacoma because it's newer, but people still steal those apparently. Like there's ways to like fabricate a key fob to make it think it's your car.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to hotwire it, which is nuts. So it's just like,
yeah,
it's tricky. Like this whole world, but I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but yeah, gotta be careful of those tacos.
Yeah, yeah.
So what made you, if you don't want me asking, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So what made you get into tiki and rum and like being so like,
Okay, so that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I'll try to keep it brief because it's a little complex.
I bet.
In the 80s, I'm older than I look. I know a lot of people think that I'm younger than I am, but
you have great skin.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s now, so this was...
No wrinkles at all.
Yeah. I was in my late teens. My grandparents on my mother's side were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And because it was their 50th wedding anniversary, they wanted to renew their vows with a church wedding and a wedding reception. Basically get married all over again.
That's awesome.
And the wedding reception was at Don the Beachcomber.
No way.
In Marina Del Rey.
What? Before it closed?
Before it closed. Still around. It's either 86 or 87 because I remember the year because of the girl I was dating at the time. And I just remember being blown away by the decor. And I wasn't old enough to drink yet. I was either 18 or 19 years old. And so 87, I was 19 years old. So, it was the decade of destruction. They called the 80s the decade of destruction because it's when all the old tiki temples were being torn down because tiki fell out of fashion and people weren't going to them anymore.
Yeah.
And, knowing now what I knew, like what was happening then, like we were the only ones in the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember like whenever I'd have to go to the restroom, I had to walk through the bar area.
Oh, wow.
And there was a bar with a room and everything was blacked out in the room. And the only lights that were on were at the bar because that bartender was serving our party.
Wow.
And I had to walk through that room to go to the restroom because the restroom was by the front door. And I just remember really being blown away by it and just thinking like, holy moly, I want my house to look like this.
That's awesome.
This is so cool, right? And from that point forward, I would buy tiki or tropical or Polynesian decor because like I just wanted that look.
Sure.
And I didn't know I was collecting stuff until later when I had like a bunch of stuff and I realized, oh, I guess I'm a collector.
Yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't really like quote unquote collecting. I was just buying stuff that I liked, knowing that like maybe someday like I'm going to decorate my apartment like this, right? Cocktails came as a result of tiki. So like early to mid 90s, maybe like through the 90s, I started like really like, that's when I recognized I was a collector and I was buying stuff specifically to collect tiki mugs, carvings, or any kind of tiki stuff I'd find at thrift stores. And I'd go to thrift stores for clothes because I was like a poor college kid.
Sure.
And I'd go there to buy clothes.
Some cool stuff though.
And I would find tiki stuff and I'd buy the stuff that I like.
And it's probably worth like a gang of what you
like all this stuff down here is all vintage.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I wasn't buying it because it was worth stuff or it was just like what I thought was cool. I just like tiki stuff. And then by the 2000s, like, you know, there was this perfect storm of stuff that was happening, right? So like the internet became this thing that we started using on our daily lives. eBay was new, Tiki Central was new.
Yeah.
And people just started like posting tiki stuff on eBay and stuff on Tiki Central.
Sure.
And then it kind of took me into overdrive. And from there, cocktails really kind of became a thing because I was hanging out at Tiki Tea at the time, and Jeff Berry, he was one of the regulars there. And there were a lot of nights where it was just me and him sitting at the bar.
No way.
And he wrote that book. He wrote the Grog Log.
Yeah.
And he was uncovering all of these old recipes, and it started becoming a thing. And then from like maybe 2010 forward, when people would open bars or make cocktails at their house parties,
sure,
or room parties at like Tiki Oasis, they were using the Grog Log and they were making these quote unquote craft cocktails.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of like where we ended up today, because like, you know, it was this thing that I just really connected to.
Yeah,
you know? That's
amazing. Yeah, I mean, like you talked about like you're curating, like, or like you taking one piece and then started being you didn't know it, but you're a collector. And then I
didn't know it. And like now, like you had asked me before we'd started recording, like, how long have you been collecting stuff? And I said like 30-ish years, or, you know.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't know I was collecting stuff back then. I was just buying what I liked because I was going to thrift stores. But then when I look back to when I started doing it, it was about 30 years ago.
Wow.
Because I was in my 20s back then.
Do you have a lot of these pieces in this room, part of that 30-year curation?
Yeah, yeah. Like my very first tiki mug is right there. It's the second one on the bottom shelf.
No way.
That's my very first tiki mug.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that, like, you did like that, like the like thrift store thing. I just recently was at like a garage sale.
Yeah.
And this guy sold a zombie Trader Sam's mug for $4. On eBay, it's worth $50.
Right.
So I made out there, you know.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, it's pretty cool to like. There. I don't know where there was this saying or whatever, but like, there's always someone that's going to find value for what you have.
Yeah, the saying is, I think, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you definitely said it right.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Before you were into this rum thing as a Kuleana rep, did you know anything about tiki?
Honestly, like for me, tiki was really introduced with me through
Kuleana.
Through Kuleana, we were invited to be part of Tiki Oasis, and my first
gotcha.
My first year at Tiki Oasis, I'm a 3-year veteran of Tiki Oasis, so I'm pretty much a rookie as far as most.
Sure, I've been to all of them.
Yeah, since the
inception. And it started in 2001.
Wow,
and I've been to all of them.
That's amazing. So you've seen a lot of evolution.
I've seen it change.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love the community, and like I for me it was like it was exciting because we kind of like really got our wings spread when we went to the room parties. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I have like a bag full of rum, like a backpack or whatever. And I'm just like, hey, do you want to, wait, never mind. Wait, what's going on here? You know, it's like squirrel. You're like, whoa, this guy's playing a ukulele over there. This girl's dancing. And I'm just like, what, you want to drink? Yeah, sure. Okay. And then like, you're just like mind blown. And you're like, that just happened. Like all this cool, like there's so many different personalities just kind of came together. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what you are. And I love that. I think it was great. I was super fortunate enough to bring my girlfriend this year, and has she
not been before?
First time.
I thought I'd seen her there before.
No, yeah.
Or maybe I just saw her somewhere else.
Probably
before.
on my Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
And I actually...
she's in one of my videos.
Is she? Nice.
Yeah, did you see the video that I did? I did a video. It's just my Tiki Oasis overview.
Oh, nice.
Of just me.
I think we were at Don Papa's sweet party, right?
Yeah, you guys were dancing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she saw my camera and she just started working for the camera.
That's awesome. Yeah, totally her personality. Yeah, of course. And
she's a fun gal.
Thank you. Yeah, her name's Anais.
Anais.
Yeah. What's up, Anais?
Yeah. Hey, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks for accepting my friend request because she has a private.
Oh yeah, she's
Instagram.
Really cool. Yeah.
I thought, well, I'm
She's
gonna
cool.
do a friend request because we're friends now.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. Mikas and Sukas,
Right.
we're all friends. Yeah, but she makes dresses too, which is really cool. So she had this amazing flower dress, super sexy, and then I'm like, you have to wear that.
Yeah.
And then I got this vintage Hawaiian shirt, and we call it aloha shirt. It's the correct.
Sure.
Yeah, and the sleeves were like Tony Soprano, down to here. And,
so a 3/4 sleeve.
Yeah, and it was just massive.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't the vibe. You can see this is just like a cotton shirt, whatever.
Yeah.
But the sleeves are right here, and she is very good at tailoring stuff, and she's like, let me make this it was a really nice black floral pattern, and it looked great, and I have a picture of it on my Instagram. I think it's my last post.
Okay.
And it was just great. I don't know what my point of the story was, but amazing girl, just super artistic and I think she even not being in the tiki world, not knowing wow, this is a whole community.
It's a whole community
of people, and just being invigorated with that, which made me talk about just having a great rum, which is also kind of correlates with this community, which is great.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win for everybody, and it's just super fun. It's just the sweet parties are always the best, but the education piece too, and actually learning. I've watched videos of you when you went to what's his name's grave? Excuse me, I apologize.
I've been to 3.
The Tiki
I've been
the
to
founder.
Ray Bioen, who's the founder.
I watched that video.
I've been to Trader Vic's.
Yep.
And I've been to Don the Beachcomber.
And I watched the video, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing history of Tiki tea.
Yeah.
And I've been there many times too, and not as much as you. You already have bar mats here, but Quentin Tarantino's on Jimmy Kimmel wearing a Tiki tea jacket and doing all this stuff, and I was like, wow, I love the history that you pull up.
You should come meet me there sometime.
Absolutely.
So the thing about the Tiki tea is it's the only place in the world that has a direct lineage through the family to Don the Beachcomber.
Yeah, which is unbelievable.
The only place in the world. So Mike Jr., who's still mixing drinks there, is the grandson of Ray Bioen. And Ray Bioen was one of Don the Beachcomber's original bartenders. There's no other
So you're a junior, your son?
No, Mike Jr., who lives...
Mike Jr. Sorry, I misheard it.
He bartends there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know his son, and then there's Mike Sr., right?
Mike Sr. So
very nice guy.
So the lineage goes from Don the Beachcomber. Mm-hmm. Ray Bioen was one of his original bartenders. Ray Bioen eventually opened the Tiki Tea after he worked at
It was a flower shop before.
It was a violin shop.
Really?
It was a stringed instruments shop before.
Okay.
Yeah. And he opened the Tiki Tea there. His father-in-law owned that violin shop. And when he opened the Tiki Tea, that was after he had spent 3 decades working at the Seven Seas, the China Trader, the Luau, all the best tiki bars in LA. And he was one of Don the Beachcomber's original bartenders.
Yeah.
And then his son, Mike Sr., took the reins on after he passed away.
Yep.
And then now Mike Sr. and Mike Jr. run that bar. So it's the only bar in the world that has a direct lineage.
I gave them a bottle of Hokale just to play with.
Yeah.
I don't know if they drank it all, but Mike Sr. was handing out shots at the bar.
You know what? The thing is, Mike Sr. is like that. So he'll get a new
rum,
or he'll get a new spirit, and he'll be like, hey, this just came in. Do you want to try it? And he'll start handing it out to people.
With all due respect, I know you're tight with those guys, but it is tough to sell in new rum to them.
It is, because the problem with those guys is that they're really set in their ways.
They are.
So
they got their rum. They know what they want. They know the price. They're like, dude, I'm not going to try to create
it's tough.
Raise mistakes, always going to be on the menu. You know what I mean?
Right.
The chi-chi's always going to be on the menu.
It's tough, getting them to, try something new.
Yeah.
But, like, it just takes showing up. And then once they know who you are, they're more open to bringing your stuff.
They would definitely recognize me. I've been there a handful of times, just kind of
you should meet me there sometime.
Absolutely.
So I have the distinct honor of ringing the bell for the Toast to Ray when every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. we ring this bell to honor the founder, who was one of Don the Beachcomber's original bartenders.
That's amazing.
And I have the distinct honor of ringing that bell, which is like a huge deal. Like, I was hospitalized earlier this summer for like 5 days.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm on meds and stuff. Like,
aren't we all?
So I'm feeling the shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm feeling it. I'm not even
right, there you go. Yeah. And anyway, like, I was hospitalized for 5 days, and when I was in the ER, and the nurse told me, okay, we're going to check you in. You're going to be hospitalized for this whole week. Oof. And I thought, oh, shit. I picked up my phone, and I texted the guys at the TKT.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm going to be hospitalized for the next 5 weeks. Can you put the bell with Esteban?
Yeah.
And they replied like, dude, you're going to be hospitalized. Like, why do you care who's going to ring the bell? And I said, they're like, don't worry about the ringing the bell. And I said, no, you don't understand.
That's your Kuleana, dude. That's your privilege.
Well, it's my privilege. But I said, you don't understand. If I don't assign that to somebody, people start people fight over who gets to ring the bell.
And you don't want that.
I don't want that. So like someone will say like, oh, so-and-so got to ring the bell. How come I didn't get to ring the bell? Or how come so-and-so, like, and that happens with everyone, right? Yeah. So I said, if I sign it to Esteban, who works there, they can't get mad at him because he works there. Sure. So I said, can you please assign it to him? And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, if that's what you want,
You're like, dude, I'm getting to the hospital sick. Like, this, like...
They have this tradition there. So, like, it's a huge deal. And, if you're ever able to, you should come meet me there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I know, like, this Wednesday is probably doable.
But you should go this Wednesday. So this Wednesday is the last Wednesday. Well, they're closing for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So everybody be out of town.
So yeah. So this Wednesday is a good Wednesday to go. So if you go, we'll do the toast with Kuleana. Bring some.
Hell
Kuleana.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I always bring some. I always have some in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And what I love that you call it like, your special like privilege, and it kind of like hones into it.
It is a privilege.
And it's your Kuleana. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Like it totally, like it just kind of hones into what we're doing now and talking about rum and just have him here. So I'm privileged to be here. When you asked me to come do your podcast,
totally do it.
So like, I felt like an honor to be on here. So thank you so much.
Well, yeah. So
Adrian,
the honor is all mine. So
thank you.
The truth is
appreciate you, dude. I
The
really do.
truth is that, like, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this brand.
Of course.
I'm a fan of you.
Thank you. I'm a fan of you as well.
I'm a fan of you. So
little circle jerk we got here. It's awesome. Yeah,
So the honor really is all mine because the truth is that like I'm honored to know the people that I know.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there's so many people in the tiki community, and there's so many people in this cocktail community, which is really like a separate community, right?
Definitely.
There's a little bit of crossover.
Sure.
But, I have friends in all the USBGs. Like, I attend the OC USBGs and the Long Beach USBGs, and I have a lot of bartender friends.
Yep.
And the truth is that, like, I'm just a guy on this side of the bar.
Sure.
So, like...
I think you're much more than that.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, I think you're much more than just some guy
on this side of the bar. So when then I have a friend like you who says... Hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to come over. I'll bring some Kuleana. And we talk about the Kuleana. You make me cocktails.
Yep.
You serve me
Panama
Kuleana,
15, single barrel.
Right.
Clang, clang.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Like.
That's just a cool rum. That's just a nice rum.
How many people get this honor?
Honestly,
that you do this?
214 bottles. No one.
No, yeah, right. So like, and that's the thing is, I recognize that. Yeah. I recognize the gesture and the effort and all that stuff, right? So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted.
I know you don't.
I don't like expect you to, So like the fact that like
You like bring me like full circle, like with a whole like reason of living, you know, like it's like like life.
Dude.
Yeah, like that's deep,
That's
right?
huge,
Yeah, it's deep.
right?
But like, you know, you shouldn't take things for granted, even if it's like, hey, you're like, hey, somebody's DMing you on a podcast for Monday. You're like, you know what, dude, Mondays are slow in the industry. I like Adrian with Polynesian Pop. Dude, let me just like come out here and like do what I can.
I'll throw this out there. Like, like how many of you guys have sent an email to somebody or a text to somebody who didn't respond?
Plenty of times.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, you just want a response.
Yep.
Right? Not only did I get a response, but you're fucking here. You brought 5 bottles of rum.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't take that for granted. I don't just like, there's no entitlement. You know what I mean? It's just like, shit, I texted you this morning, like, hey, like, are we still on? Because
yeah, of course.
I don't want to just think like, yeah, Chad's coming over today.
I put that shit in my calendar.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I don't take that for granted. And so you're gonna take the time to come out here? Sure, let's talk about your rum.
Dude, and
let's tell everybody
take notes,
about
everybody.
your
If you
rum.
want to be on Adrian's podcast or, you know, his videos, just be a man of your word. And I think that's what made me successful. And like saying, hey, you know what, Adrian? Yes, I will gladly accept I'll be honored to be a part of your video.
Dude, I love it.
And like,
I love it.
I think that's what made me successful in my industry is being a man of my word. But like, dude, hey, you coming at 5? Yeah, I'm here.
Being a professional.
That's all it is.
That's all it takes. Being a professional.
Be a man of the word. You know, just like
that's it.
That's all it takes.
I love it. Well,
yeah. Thanks so much for having me, man.
It's my honor that you're here.
Yeah.
And thank you. And like I said, I'm embarrassed that I haven't had Kuleana in this bar before.
Well, you do now.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So for all of our listeners that are out there that would like to check out Kuleana on the web, social media and all that, let's throw that out there.
Yeah, so kuleanarum.com is our website. So you can actually see that. And then at Kuleana Rum on Instagram, which is a pretty popular social network. Kuleana Rumworks on Facebook. We're on Twitter as well, which is now called X. I don't know.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But if you need me too, at Chad Yoho is my Instagram.
I love your name, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Everybody's like, are you Asian? And I'm like, you know, sadly I'm not, because I love the Asian culture.
That's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, but I am, so the name kind of originates from like, our immigrants came over, my dad's side and my mom's side. So my mom's side is Serbian and Greek, and my dad's side is like a big mutt of white, if that makes any sense. Like, you got all these different creeds and races all blended together, and then here comes this face. And then, so when they came to like the mainland,
it's gorgeous though.
Thank you.
It's
sir.
gorgeous,
even with the stash, you know. They came over, and a lot of people it was spelled Joho with an accent over the J.
Oh, really?
And then they Americanized it because they couldn't pronounce it with a Y. Oh. And everyone was like, "Are you Asian?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm a big fan. Love y'all. I love your food. Love your culture and
That's
everything."
That's a respectful way to say that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But it's a cool name because it's like it's really coincidental that I sell rum, the Yo-Ho-Ho. Yo-Ho-Ho in a bottle of rum.
You got a song, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like on the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like it's a weird name, but it's cool. It's only 4 letters. It's easy to spell. It's easy to pronounce, and it's pretty fun. So
I love it.
Privileged to have that. You know? Yeah, definitely.
Well, for our listeners out there, we're gonna put all of Chad's links down below. His Instagram, his social medias, all of the Kuleana stuff as well. And the links to the videos that we made for Kuleana with the cocktails. And if you guys want more, check us out on Instagram at Polynesian Pop. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Polynesian Pop, where you can get exclusive content, which only goes to our subscribers. And you know what I'd love to do, Chad, if we're able to do this?
Absolutely.
If we could do like a Patreon-only event?
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally down.
And we'll have Kuleana come down here inside the Desert Oasis Room.
Yes.
Do some Kuleana cocktails just for our Patreons.
We would love to do that.
So if you'd love to be part of that, I'd love to have you.
Of course.
And if you guys out there want to be part of that, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Polynesian Pop. And until then, I guess we're going to wrap this one up.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, party people.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us inside the Desert Oasis Room. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian.
Cheers.
Cheers,
and aloha.
bud. I drink all my Panama 15. Let's go.
Cheers and aloha.
That was fun, man. Thanks so much.
I love it. You too. Thanks.
Yeah, that was good.